Welcome to Tactic Academy, where we'll be looking at introduction to biology, that is B110 specifically. So in this study, we'll look at different things involved in biology, as we are just to talk about the intro. All right. So without even wasting our time, let's get started. Okay, the first thing that we need to understand is to understand biology itself, right? We need to be aware of it. Some people maybe don't know it, so it's important that we get to know it. All right. Okay. So we are saying now, biology. You can define biology in so many ways. One of them we can say is the study of life. All right, but since we are now growing, we'll say this is the study of life in relationship to the environment. So biology is the study of life in relationship to the environment. All right, so we are saying this is the study of this is the study of life, right? You can end there, but we will continue adding what is found in the environment. So we'll say in relationship to the environment. All right. So very easy. So since um we are saying biology is the study of life in relationship to the environment, right? That's the study of biology. Yeah, that is correct. You might give other definitions, but this one is just okay because at least it's a bit advanced. So um so in grade 12, I remember you learned about um plant and animal cell, like what are the two types of cell. You said animal cell and plant cell, that is it, right? If you can remember. So here we are going to find that organisms are classified into two types. All right, that is prokaryote and eukaryote. Are we there? Chanda, are we there? Sure, yes. So they'll be classified as prokaryotes and eukaryotes. All right. So we are saying two forms of life now. So two forms of life. So two forms of life. All right. So we are saying life will be classified as either eukaryote or prokaryotes. All right. So we'll know what a prokaryote organism is. We'll know what eukaryote organism is. All right. So now we'll say the first one here, we'll put what we call prokaryote. All right. So we'll find prokaryotes here. Here, this side, we'll find what we call eukaryotes. All right. So there'll be eukaryote, prokaryote. Those are the two. You need just to master these things. All right. So in short, they are more like cells. But this study is interested in cells, by the way. If you are not aware. So these prokaryotes are organisms that are single. All right, they are single celled. So we say single celled organism. All right, we can have the best example as the bacteria. All right, bacteria and archaea. All right. So these are the best example you can give for this guy or this form, which is prokaryotes. So find they are single-celled organisms. All right, they are single-celled only. So the keyword is they are single-celled organism, and you can give the best example as bacteria and archaea. All right, but for this case or for this form of life, in this form of life, we'll find the both single-celled and multicellular organisms. So when you say multicellular, simply means comprises of main cell. But when you say single-celled, that is unicellular, meaning they are just made up of one cell. But for eukaryotes, we'll say they are multicellular organism. But not only that, there's one guy under eukaryote who is a single-celled organism, and that is a protist. I will talk about that later. So we are saying both. Here they are both single and multicellular. All right. So multicellular. Multicellular organisms so the best example we can give is plants, all right, animalia or just animals. All right, we can also talk about fungi. You know fungi. All of us knows fungi. So there's this now another example that I'll give of which it will bring this issue of single-celled organism. So this is what you call. So it's also a best example for eukaryote. It is called protist. All right. Protist or protista, like that. Okay. So this guy is the single-celled. All right. So someone can ask you to say what makes to be also what brings most of eukaryotes are multicellular, but why some are single? And what is that organism that we find as a single organism under this in terms of cell? It is protist. It's just a cell. We'll talk about it later on its own. Also fungi, we'll talk about them. All right. Only plants. Also plants. That will be the end of our study. That will be the end of our study as the BI 110. All right. So that is it. So we'll go to what we call now cell biology. Since we are studying cells now, we're interested in cells. All right. Okay. So we are interested in knowing cells. All right. So there are terms that we need to understand when we are studying, let's say, cell. The study of cell will be called cytology. All right. So we'll say study of cell. Study of a cell is called cytology. All right. So this is called cytology. So master that. Okay. So the study of cell is called cell cytology or just cytology. All right. So and what is just this a cell we are talking about? What is it? What is a cell, by the way? Who can define a cell? Yes, Kunda. Yeah, yes. This a cell is the smallest matter that carry out all the life processes, right? So a cell is a basic unit of a living organism. We can also say that, or we can say the smallest of matter. So smallest anything we learned about matter, we all know what a matter is, right? So we say a cell. So a cell now, this is the smallest of matter. We know matter. So of that matter, the smallest of that matter is what we call a cell. So this cell will carry out, so that carry out all the life processes. All right. So someone to give me the examples of life processes. All right. Someone to give me the example of life processes. Yes, yes. DJ, your name is DJ. All right. What are the things? What are the processes of life? Okay, reproduction. So we can talk of reproduction, movement, excretion, digestion, so forth and so on. So there are a lot of life processes, all right? So we can also say movement. There are a lot. So just know that a cell is that smallest smallest thing of matter that carry out all the life processes. Or you can say a cell is a basic unit or structure of a living organism, or of just an organism. It's still the same. Don't worry about this definition you are writing. You just write it the way you feel it, the way you understand. You write it. So long as it makes sense, they will mark you. All right. So since we are studying a cell, there are three theories of a cell. All right. So say theories of a cell. So say the cell theory now. All right. So this cell theory we are talking about, please, you should know this. They normally ask about to state the cell theories. All right. There are just the three of them, and you can't fail to exhaust them. So here are they. So we'll say all living organisms are made up of cells. All right. So we'll say all living organism, all living organisms. So these are the ones. So this is number one. All right. So these are the cell theories, or it's just a cell theory. It is made up of three principles. So say three principles. All right. Okay. So one, all living organisms are made up of cells. So this is how you start. Please master this. So all living organisms are made up of cells. Yes. So since they are made up of cells, we'll say now what is a cell. So it's more like you define a cell. So you tell them to say now a cell or a cell is a basic function or structure of a living organism. So you are now defining a cell, right? So you say a cell is a basic function. All right. So it's a basic function or structure. All right. So it will be a structure or something that carry out functions. So of that living organism. Okay, so of living organism, like that. All right. So then since you have written, you are now telling them to say all living organism, let's say your sir or your madam, all living organisms are made up of cells. Then a cell that I'm talking about is a basic function or structure of a living organism. All right, now the third point or the third principle that you're going to tell them to say, these cells I'm from talking about, or the cells that I'm talking about, they are coming from already existing cells, or they are coming from replication of pre-existing cells. So you say all cells, you say cells comes from the replication of pre-existing cells. All right, so pre-existing okay, so you tell them to say these cells that I'm talking about, they are coming from already existing cells, or they're coming from the replication of pre-existing cells or already existing cells. So you master these principles, please guys. Can you just master these principles? So that's about cells. We'll be talking about cells in this stage, where we'll now go into prokaryotes, eukaryotes, everything like that. So in chapter 2 or in part 2, we are going to talk about prokaryotes 3. Then from there we'll also talk about grand procedure, everything like that. So master these, please. So this is just the intro part of our studying biology. So it's important that you master all of these, all right? Then from there we'll go now into details. So see you in the next video.